Hello, people. Hello, people. Hello, people. It's Straight Talk election follow up. It's a Straight Talk. I got Mr. Dante Jackson that's going to be with us, and we're going to talk about some things as we do on Straight Talk, and we pray. Listen, y'all, listen, if you don't have a relationship with me, don't understand me, um, don't come on my post because I'm going to delete you because you oftentimes misread and misinterpreted what it is that I am saying and what it is I'm thinking, and it's quite difficult to um, try to adhere or listen because many of you are listening with your emotions. So don't. I've got to pay somebody. I got to pay one of the young college students to purge my page. I got about 15,000. I got about on my private page. I got about 5,000. So I'm going to delete about 1,500 people. So be free to comment. I'm getting ready to really purge because personally, I don't go on anybody's page, and I think some people just come to be myopic and egregious in thought, and it's funny because I would say something and then people without a relationship just come on and say things. We don't even have relations, even though this is social media. When people talk and they post things, if I don't have a relationship with you, even though it's public and it's social media, I don't even say nothing. Okay, I understand. Well, I just read your comment, Kimo, but somewhere down the line we get it twisted, and then we get mixed up with the title. A title, who I am is just women made. I'm a black man in America, but my title, I have many different titles. But we're gonna talk about it here. And I want to add one of my guests on, Dante Jackson, a great friend of mine, and I want him to get on. I can't see him. He's blocked the view, but we're going to talk about the follow up on the election. Um, this is my brother. So you all, again, if you all see us talking, we speak as brothers, and that's why we talk. We have mad respect for each other.
Oh man, nothing but respect for you.
But
nothing but
he is a little Uncle Tom. He is a house Negro, but we
Negro, kill yourself.
He's a
right
house
now.
Negro. He is one of the house Negroes. He's rich.
Listen, watch this.
See the taper, see the taper and all that. Look at it. See the hands. Look, show your hands. His hands are soft.
Hey, my hands.
Negro.
Ain't nothing. Listen,
Negro.
You light skinned. You light skinned, and you know Master was all up in your great grandmother. Okay, so you a house Negro for real.
No.
None of them cutting hands work.
Look at this. So I'm trying to figure out why is it such a celebration.
Yeah, I don't understand that
from the gay community. I'm trying to see, did the gay win an agenda? Did something happen?
I'm trying to figure out why there's a celebration. Period. There shouldn't be a celebration because there's way too much going on in this country right now that's wrong.
Okay,
so we shouldn't be celebrating.
Sean, I sent you a link, Sean. I want you to get on. I sent you a link. So tell me, maybe I'm fine because people getting on my page and this. I'm gonna block you. I mean, is that a big thing because you get blocked on social media from a person you really don't know, just know their name? I mean, come on. Where are we going from?
I don't know. I've been blocked by a lot. I've been blocked by a lot of people, so I'm not even worried about that.
So you are
but here's the thing.
You're a Democrat.
I'm an independent.
Okay, good.
I'm an independent, and not only am I independent, but it was too that when I moved back to North Carolina, I actually toyed with registering with the party of Lincoln only because we need to know what the enemy, quote unquote enemy, or the other side is doing. We already know what the Democrats are going to do. We know what the Democrats stand for, but we don't typically understand what the conservative side stands for. And it's not about church. So let me just throw that out the way right now because I know a lot of stop. Hold on. Let me say it like this. Let me say it this way. Here's the one thing that a lot of conservatives say is that they're the party of God. But they're only the party of God when it comes to certain things. They're only a part. They believe in abortion. They don't believe in abortion, but they don't want to take care of the child after the child is born because that's a social thing.
Right.
So something like that. You know, they
Right.
don't believe in they believe in marriage between one man and one woman, but they don't have a problem sleeping with other women if they're married or other men if they're married. Blah 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 blah.
Right.
You know, they
Well,
don't
let
have
me
a
just say
problem.
this. So let me say this so people can, because people don't know me and they misread me. They think I like Donald Trump.
Oh,
I don't like.
I know you don't.
I mean, the people don't understand me. So I like the Republican agenda and I like some of the Democrat agenda. Well, for me, I have loved ones and people that attend my church that the Democratic Party can benefit as it relates to health care, et cetera, et cetera. But then I have people in my church that complain that makes over $400,000 and talk about the tax breaks. So it's different variables. We're not one American Negro like we was in the 40s and 30s and 60s. And so, because you're not the one American Negro now, people think if you do vote for Republican, if you want somebody like Donald Trump, here's the thing: Donald Trump represents business to me. I don't care if he's a moron. I mean, he was not presidential. He lost the race because he was not presidential enough. He was a typical, in my opinion, white man. All right, Joe Biden thinks the same way. He told y'all, he said, you blacks better vote for me.
Okay, I don't think he said that.
Oh, yeah, he said that. He said,
no, he didn't say that. He didn't say that. We can pull up the clip. We can pull the clip up. We know what he said.
We got to pull up the clip.
Here's the thing about Donald Trump representing. Here's the thing about Donald Trump representing business now. Donald Trump can't represent business because he's been a failed businessman forever.
But he's still a billionaire.
He's been a failed. Nah.
He's still a billionaire.
Bishop, can I go back to that? Joe Biden said that I am not black if I don't vote for him. He said that. And that was an insult. That was an insult to me and my intelligence. That was an insult. I took that as an insult. And then I'm going to say this. I'm not going to say that Biden won the election. I'm not going to say that.
Negro, he did. All right. Reality. Here's a reality check. He won. Not only did he win.
Okay, let me ask you this. Okay, let me ask you this.
Not only did he win, but he just picked up Nevada. He's getting ready to pick up Arizona, and he's going to pick up Georgia.
Kudos to Joe Biden. Kudos to Joe Biden for the system that he said. No, Joe Biden said that the system. The reality is Joe Biden said he had a system that they set in place to be patient because the system that they set in place was working and he would win. Kudos. I'm fine with that. But let me ask you this. The lady that they sat in the Supreme Court, you know, the whatever her name is, Barrett or whatever her name is, do you know who she really is?
Do any of us know who she really is?
Do we know? We do know that this is the same lady that went and won the election for Bush.
No, she didn't. How she won the election for Bush?
Bishop,
you mean she was on his team? She was on Bush's legal team.
Who argued the points in the court?
She did, but that doesn't. But that has nothing to do.
Transcripted. Who ran the investigation? Okay. Who was the head of the investigation that uncovered stuff?
Okay, so let me ask you all this.
Listen, there was nothing. Hold on. Let me respond to her real quick. Because her facts are wrong. One, there was nothing to uncover in Bush versus Gore 1. There were hanging there. It was about the hanging chads. It was about hanging chads, and they all went down there and they did a recount. And the recount is what won him the election. So
and
don't get it twisted.
Because they tried that mail-in vote back then.
No, they didn't try to. What, nigga? Okay, wait. You do realize that people have been voting by mail forever, right? That's how our military votes. That's how a lot of our elderly vote. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Prior to now, how did you have to do those mail-in votes?
The same length of time you have to do them now.
Okay,
so not the same way that people voted right now. There's a difference between the two. However, I'm a Democrat.
So let me just ask you all this. Let me ask my panel this. He said on the Breakfast Club that if you didn't vote for him, you was not black.
You not. That is exactly what he said.
And to all my African Americans,
were you offended with that?
Wait. To all my African Americans, I mean, what the hell do you have to lose? Why not vote for me? What the hell do you have to lose? So
I mean, I'm losing every time I vote for Democrats.
What's the worst insult? What's the worst insult? What the hell do you have to do?
I can't speak for every other black person, okay? I can only speak for her. For me, it was, I can pull up my voter record for you. I was 17 in 2000. So 2001, I was 18. The first election that I was legally able to vote in was Bush versus Gore. I voted for now. I'm 37. I ain't ashamed of my age.
Don't be dropping your age here.
Don't be dropping your age here. I was born in 1983. My mother is born and raised in Miami, from Miami, okay?
We have two Republicans, independent and a Democrat. Sean has made her videos about the Biden. Let me ask you, are you all, let me just so I can get a clarity, because people mad at me. I don't even know why they're mad at me. They don't even know who I voted for. I'm independent. But let me say this. Are you excited? If you're excited that a black woman is now going to be the vice president, or are you excited because the Democrats are now in the office of the president? Why are black people excited? I'm trying to figure out why.
I'm not excited about either.
I'm excited
because
about
the Senate and Congress, the Congress and Senate still look the same. So nothing's changed.
Not for long.
Nothing. Now, as long as our folks in Georgia go down and vote in their runoff, then the Senate will change. Yes, but until then, until that balance of power, that's why you have those different offices and different layers of government, because the balance of power. And right now, the balance of power, and by the way, the balance of power is always sat in the Senate and Congress. They make the presidential election seem sexy. They make the presidential election seem like it's the end all be all for smoke and mirrors. Because there are people that are sitting in the Senate.
Let me stop people. I never told anybody to vote for Trump. Go check the record, because I don't think anybody.
Somebody said that on your thing.
I said, I want to know why the black people vote for Democrats. I have a problem with black people and the Democrats taking advantage of black people, thinking they're going to vote. That made me angry when they said the votes on Philadelphia is out, and we know. In Philadelphia, that part of Philadelphia, it's all Democratic. They take advantage of our vote. They take advantage of our.
But see, here's the problem. Here's the problem with your statement, real quick, and not trying to be funny, but
real quick, because I'm going.
Real quick, Philadelphia is not a majority black city.
I'm talking. Right, I understand that, but they said the black vote in the county, in the city, the portion that was in, they just knew it was black.
From that certain precinct.
Well, they know
from that particular precinct.
But it had to be more. It had to be more than that. It had to be more than that.
Why?
That's not what they're saying.
Why did it have to be more than that? Why did it have to be more?
Because
it didn't have to be more than that. What we have to be able to understand is that there are pockets of black people throughout this country that can sway an election. If it weren't the case, even though we're 13.4% of these United States, when you look at it, we vote 76% of the time. So when you look at that and you say, wait a minute, there's a small amount of people, but they vote consistently versus a larger amount of people who don't vote as consistently. That is why they tried so hard to suppress the vote. And I understand what you're saying, Bishop, about people seemingly taking advantage of the black vote. Here's what I believe. Here's what my grandfather told me. No man can ride your back unless it's bent. So nobody's taking advantage of black voters.
Grandpa was wise. Grandpa was wise for that.
Choose to vote Democratic because that's
why. Okay, stop. Why?
I'm about to tell you.
Why? That's all.
Here's the thing.
That's my whole argument. And let me just say, let me throw this out. Let me say this too. I'm gonna give you the question, Sean. I'm gonna give you the question, Sean. But let me tell you something. First of all, let me say this. I pastor single mothers. I pastor people that have been. I have family that's been. I'm not down. I'm not talking against the welfare system. In fact, the welfare system is don't go to blacks, go to farmers. I'm not speaking against the welfare system. All right, the farmers the one get the big welfare. I'm not talking about women that's single. But I have a problem of our people. We call them in Michigan, we call them a bridge card. All right, that's a food stamp card. A bridge card is something to get you to one point to another. Tangela is a prime example. If you are on, I don't even know if she was on the welfare today, I'm just saying example. If you are on welfare, you should not have 7 to 10 generations of your family on the same system that you were with your grandmother. I have a problem with that. 7, and then you know you're gonna have a baby because you know you're gonna get a check. You know this. It's gotta stop. It has socially engineered us as a people. And when are you gonna stop having babies and we go to work and take care? Go ahead, man.
I wouldn't say us as a people. I would say some people.
Well, I don't want to separate people. Because I'm talking about us as people.
But we have to, because there are
I'm supposed to separate myself from that half of black folk that can't get their life right. Wait a minute, my skin's still brown. I can't change that, so we all together.
I don't identify with all black people. I just can't, because that's not who I am.
Let me see how light you are, because you is a little bit lighter than me.
Wait a minute.
Listen. You don't know.
Falling into the point that Bishop is about to make. Bishop can make your point, because he's falling right into the point that you get ready to make.
I'm not falling into the point. I'm ready to teach you something, youngin. All right. If you be quiet, give a little hush hush for a little bit, you'll learn something. All right.
You know you're talking crazy, talking about I gotta separate myself from the rest of the black
Wait, we gotta give Sean. Hold up. We gotta give Sean her.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sean.
It's for Sean. Sean, go ahead and elaborate on it. So let me just say that. That's my only gripe. Because my grandfather was a UAW, he was Democrat, but I just woke up one day and just say, why are we Democrats?
Okay. So I think that when we start to look at the policies, and again, when we look at this country, you really do have layers to break down in terms of this particular party or that party, because they have evolved over time. And so you always get people who say, well, originally black people were Republicans. Yes, but not that kind of Republican that we see now. And when we talk about Democrats, well, at one time they were the Dixiecrats. So again, these parties continue to evolve. And I like to think that people do as well. I believe, and I can only speak for me, I'm not going to speak for all black people. Some of the black people that I know do not identify with the Republican agenda. And I listen to you all talk very succinctly about abortions and what somebody was for or what they were against. A lot of this has to do with control. It has to do with the wealthy landowners. It has to do with that document that we hold ourselves to, which is the Constitution, which by and large does not include us. This system, I'm not going to say it was flawed. It is the way the founders intended it to be for wealthy landowners, period. And so when you
wealthy say white landowners, because they took our land.
Yeah, they took our land. Well, when we talk about in this country, we didn't.
So why aren't all black people independents then? Why are we even choosing a party?
Well, let me say this. Let me say this about North Carolina, because I think, Dante, the 3 of us live here. I know that in North Carolina, when I first registered, I registered independent, but in the primaries, I was not able to vote. I did not have a voice. That was not for me. I did not like being told that the only time I would be able to vote would be in the general election. So I had to choose a party.
So they forced you to choose a party because they told you don't have a voice unless you choose.
Say it again.
We still
they forced you to choose. They forced you to choose one side or the other because
I wouldn't say forced.
I wouldn't say
forced. Independent. North Carolina, it's not just me. It's the system. Period. So
most states.
So that's what Bishop was trying to say.
No,
that's exactly what Bishop was saying.
In most states, it's like that. That if you want to canvass during the primaries, you have to choose which way you want to go. You can't, because if you don't, then you'll be able to canvass for everybody, and that means you may double vote or whatever. So you have to.
Well, I'm an independent in Virginia, and I voted in the Republican primary in 2014 or something like that. I did not vote in the Democratic primary because they know that I had already voted, but I am not a registered Democrat or a registered Republican. I'm not.
Right.
So in Arizona, they're not going to tell me when I can vote and for what election I can or cannot based on my party affiliation.
It's just the primaries. It's not. It has nothing to do with
the general. I vote beyond the presidential election.
So do
I.
But they primary for every election, for every seat.
There's a primary. Not just presidential.
But they basically told you what you was going to be and what you was going to do.
This is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing from.
And that's anybody. So
okay, I'm looking at CNN. I'm looking at the world right now.
Lives in this state.
All right, there's 70 million people at 74 million, wait, about 71 million people at home mad right now. And there's about 74 celebrating right now. We're divided. So then we have the Senate. Georgia's going to play a good part in why that's going to run. And it's always divided. Vice President Harris would be able to,
break the
tie. So are we excited today because we are what the colloquial term is? We're getting a moron out of office, or we voted for somebody that's more presidential. Do you think Joe Biden is a better expert at business and dealing with China than Donald Trump? I'm talking about if he was more presidential. Because what I'm hearing is, I'm not hearing that people are speaking against his policies. I'm not hearing about speaking against. I'm hearing his morality. Right. Everything is about his personality. I don't hear nothing about his dealings with China. How he shut China down. I don't hear nothing about how 3,000 men were released from prison.
Well, Bishop, for me, his dealings with China benefited the hood, and I'm going to keep standing up for the hood because I know a lot of chicks selling bundles, pocketbooks, weaves, eyelashes, eyebrows, and everything else, and they have moved from the projects on based on that one simple fact that China could hold a monopoly over the billions of dollars that we spend in the economy. And y'all can say what y'all want. The minute that man take a seat, these chicks ain't going to be selling weaves no more.
Yes, they will.
Okay, wait.
Boutiques are going to be gone.
Okay.
Yes, it is true. No,
I invited you on. Check
and
your
if you're
inbox.
going to talk about China and how much they benefited the hood, then let's also talk about how it hurt America when we put tariffs on China because of the steel. They said it was bad steel coming into this country. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the price of steel. Let's talk about how that impacted
the tax them Germans about the cars and the automobile industry.
We used to make our own steel, so why are we getting it from them anyway?
But how about those days they never gonna come back? That's not under Trump.
No, that's what Obama said.
What's funny is everybody thinks this man is such a great businessman. Five times. You owe over $500 million personally. You are not a good businessman. You're a good con artist. That's it. He's a con artist, supreme. He's not a businessman. Ain't been no businessman. And anybody from New York, ask them, they know. We know what time it is. He is not about business. Look at the elite. Look at the billionaires in New York. He was never a part of their crowd. Not because he didn't have the money, but because it wasn't who they wanted, because he was not integral in his dealings. That's what people fail to realize. Don is not new to this. He is true to who he has been.
Let me just say this.
She's absolutely right, though.
Let me say
look at a lot of billionaires.
All you New Yorkers. Let me say this, Dante. I found it quite funny that people call this man an idiot. Let me tell you why. Let me give my 1 minute. How you call a man an idiot that wherever you go in any major city, you see his name? The man was a Democrat, funded the Clintons, got on a TV show and said, if I ever ran for president, I would run as Republican. And you become what you spoke. But you calling him an idiot? And you said he's a bad businessman, but most of us don't have $20,000 bank in the bank, but he's a billionaire.
But most of us also didn't have a father who left us $400 million either. So speak
you
on
can't
that.
say so to that. But wait a minute. As a father, I salute that. I don't care.
I can't not a white father.
Listen to me.
Okay.
As a father, I celebrate that. Do you know why? Because Black people, like Migo said, we ain't got a lot of old money, but we got a lot of new money. Black folks don't have no old money because we don't leave our generations nothing. We don't leave
but we have to
I'm saying to me, I don't care what y'all say, I celebrate that as a man to leave his family good.
He didn't leave it to him. That. His son stole it from him, so that's different.
I don't care where he got it. He got it.
This is coming from his own family. I'm not making it up. I'm not soundbiting off of CNN. This is the man who stole from his father.
Don't you know rich white folks argue like that?
He got honorable law.
Listen, she has a point.
No.
You made your point.
No.
One of the things I want to say.
Anybody know what Amir is?
I never called
Amir. Okay, you almost was Amir. Okay. Well, let me let.
I never called him
Amir.
35.
35. All right, he has a perspective on this, and he wants to give it. I thought he would be good. I've been watching him. But let me say this. Let me say this to you. Most wealthy old money came from criminal enterprise.
Absolutely.
I mean, black folks, Bobby Johnson, we were stripped. We were stripped.
The Kennedys.
The hood
the
money.
Kennedys are the biggest bootleggers in the country.
Yeah, the beer barons, Boston Tea Party, all that. Yeah.
The Build-A-Bear, all that. And there's 13 entities. And you're the first one that ever talked about the Build-A-Bear, the Mel Violet. Nobody talks about it. There's 13 entities that choose the president, that choose these powers, and the president is nothing but a pawn.
Wait a second. Can I ask you? Wait.
I'm submitting to black folks this. We don't need the Democrats or the Republicans. We need somebody to get all our black billionaires and millionaires together. We need somebody for us.
They can do it though, Bishop. Let's talk about that.
I need all y'all together. I need all y'all to pick up this book.
What's that? Claude Anderson?
Right? It's Emir, right?
Emir.
Okay. Go ahead, Emir. Go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I see what a lot of people are saying, but I heard a couple false narratives from the sister in the car about China and Donald Trump, and will Trump be able? How will Biden do as a businessman versus Trump? I don't feel like Trump is a great businessman. I mean, it's easy to get. Look, if somebody gives me $2 million in the 70s and I can't flip that, I suck. Like, let's just be real. Like, that's like a dude. Like, we talking about like everybody who got money from back in the day and how they're doing today. Like, if the Kennedys didn't flip what they had, they would suck. If they didn't get into politics, they would suck. Like, even if you look at all the hood families and criminal enterprises of Chicago, of all those places where there were black people and people who did organized crime, those families are still better than the average family. They're not in the projects. They're not living below the poverty line. They're not living below $12,000 a year. They're not doing that. None of those enterprises. So as far as I'm concerned, when it comes like me and my wife, we own a house, we're good, right? But I have family members who live in the projects that I grew up in, still to this day. And I'm like, and that's like 5 generations ago in Delaware. And I think Bishop, you came to Delaware with your son. He used to ball here. My
aunt, but do you not see the difference between how you think and what they're thinking and why they're there and you're not?
But here's a lot of times it ain't about that. Some of the greatest entrepreneurship is in our hoods. Everything back in the day, everything.
That's my whole point.
But here's the thing about China that you had a false narrative about. These girls ain't gonna stop selling bundles because they were selling bundles before.
Oh, we gonna sell. Black folks gonna get money.
Exactly. Listen. I started selling candy before I started selling drugs or anything else, or T-shirts or anything else. So the reality of the situation is we ain't gonna stop selling, and China ain't never gonna stop. What Donald Trump did was sell the debt of the United States back to China so they could trade here again. So that's all he did. It wasn't like he did something that Obama didn't do. A lot of the stuff that we give Trump credit for is the stuff that was on the docket for President Obama. But the Senate and Congress didn't allow him to do. Like Mitch McConnell said when he got elected, he said, I'm going to do everything in my power and I'm going to make sure I block everything he did. Obamacare, for instance. Obamacare was supposed to be like care that's in Canada. In Canada, I have a friend that's a Canadian. His mom had stage 4 cancer. Guess what? She's living today because she got the same care as everybody else. And that's the care Obama wanted.
When he said Obamacare now, they're making it seem like it's trash because really they manipulated the Senate to make people say it's affordable, but it's not affordable. But that wasn't the original Obamacare.
That wasn't the original, because it wasn't even called Obamacare in the beginning. That was a slur by Republicans.
They created because it's affordable care.
Absolutely.
And we also know that it was identical to the Republican plan that was written, and we all know that it was upset that he passed their idea. I get that. But let me go back to China. Some of those provisions in China, I agree with what you're saying, but let me tell you a little bit about this hair. When that happened, it opened up an avenue to have direct connects from other places. With Biden, that'll be cut off, and then China has a monopoly.
Hold on. We can't hear, sisters be talking. everybody that's watching, they are not arguing.
No, this is good conversation. This is good conversation.
This is how we talk. This is how we talk.
Very excited.
But well, let me say this. I used to.
I know where you can get hair from now in India where I couldn't get at before because there was a block on it. And I know that the block will go back under Democratic control.
That's not true. That's a false. Let me tell you that. Let me tell you why that's a false narrative. I'm gonna give you examples why. As you can see, I'm a fat guy. I'm a fat dude. I ain't never had a skinny day. So I used to buy suits from a dude named Michael Sahi. Bishop Amir May knows exactly who that is. Custom suit guy. I asked him, I was like, yo, man, I need a discount on the suit. I was paying $1,000 for suits. He was like, yo, man, just bring me more customers. I got mad. I was like, yo, who this dude that come to our culture conventions every single year makes over $100,000 from every bishop? All these black people don't pay no tithes, don't give nothing. My grandmom died on her deathbed. She said, fool, it's time for you to stop making money for other people, make money for yourself. And I said, what?
Right.
She says, from clothes, fool. I said, so you know what I did? I was in my recliner. TripAdvisor came on my phone. I got WhatsApp. I was able to call everybody. It ain't the fact that we got a block. It's the fact that we don't understand the avenues to go to. It's not that it's a block to those people. It's that we don't. It's that most of the time black people are scared to get on the internet and connect with people that don't speak the same language as them. Now that we have WhatsApp, we have Google Translate. Now we don't get stuck. Man, I know. You know how I know that there's no connection, because I used to buy fake Air Ones from China back in the day when I was a young bull, and I used to get them sent over here. So you can get whatever you want. You can get whatever you want, just like that hair, sneakers, fashion, all that stuff. You can get exactly what you want. I started a whole custom suit business, and they didn't even speak the language I spoke because I knew how to use Google Translate on WhatsApp. It's the fact that you just don't.
Well, have you heard the latest on Google since they announced that Biden was president? Have you heard the latest on the Google and the censorship that is now getting ready to happen because he's been elected?
No, but it's not about Biden.
It's not about. No, okay, yeah, that's not Biden.
Well, let me say this too. Let me say this as a bishop in the Lord's Church and a pastor, a renowned person. Now, I'm tired of this ignorance. Just if you didn't vote for Trump does not mean you're not with God. That's stupid, and that's erroneous doctrine. I don't care if you. I mean, that ain't got nothing to do with salvation. Y'all continue, but that's retarded. You can vote for who you want to as a citizen. I mean, the evangelicals need to stop that foolishness. And just because you ain't vote for Trump don't mean you're not God. You're not saved.
So can we talk about them?
And for those that didn't vote for Trump, not crazy either. It's the same thing.
It's not either way. Either way.
Being crazy is a whole lot different than being called non-Christian. They're two different things.
Well, I don't know. I've been called kind of crazy all my life. So hey, just because they call me crazy, that means it's true. Just because I lie want to punch somebody in their face or cuss them out at the drop of a dime, does that mean that I'm this?
It doesn't mean that you're crazy, but you're a little touched.
It means hey yo, they called Joe Clark crazy for putting chains on the door. But I mean, hey, he was an advocate for school board.
So let me say this, and I'm about to break this down for y'all because many people think I am just an avid Trump lover. No. Let me say this. I like things on both sides, but I want to say to this, black people irritate me, period. My whole agenda is for us to do whatever we're doing. I don't care if it's on the streets. I don't care if it's from the church. I don't care if it's from black athletes to play at black schools. We need to do black owned. That's all I'm talking about. We need to bring ourselves up. Shop black, ride black, go to black mortgage company, black brokers, go to black counselors, go to black dentists. We need our own.
Can I ask you a question, Bishop?
Was not built for us.
Can I ask you a question, Bishop? Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you 100% when it comes to doing everything black. But the two things, I used to be the chairman of the Urban League. I ain't saying that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I used to have a lot of different connections with different people, right?
Right.
And one thing that I used to talk to, like when it came to insurance. Now we all know insurance is $1 trillion a year business, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So the guy he was a Nation of Islam brother he has a dope insurance company, but the problem that he's had was the fact that he had to still go through one of those mainline insurance companies in order to get insurance.
Yeah.
But I did switch my insurance to him to let him know, look, bro, I can do my part. So the point but the question I have to you is this: what happens when you got a black guy that you shopping with and you doing business with, but he ain't for us?
He's not doing business. He's not doing business.
So here it is. So one of the worst men in America is a black man who thinks he's white.
Absolutely, totally agree.
And I mean that's just period. I mean,
or a selfish black man that don't care about nobody but himself, and as long as he made it, he could care less if everybody else suffering.
I think that's the same
Or
thing.
the third type is a black man in this country that don't take care of the kids that he made,
or
take care of the family
that
that
ain't
they
the white
made.
man's fault. That ain't the white man's fault.
But conversely, the same goes for some of the sisters too, because there's some sisters that have those same traits. So they're just bad people, period.
I was just being the antagonist. I was just being the antagonist on the
emotion.
Right. And that's all I've been on this last campaign. I've been an antagonist.
I ain't gonna lie, Bishop. I've been looking at your posts, and I had to one day I had to really calm down, and I had a long soliloquy, a whole situation that I was about to type to you. But then I remember who you were. I was like, yo, that's Mirror Dad. I can't do that. And I was like, yo, he out here playing this anyway. I'm not fooling with, but it was so. But the thing about I think what you do a great job is if you're a smart person, what you're trying to do is create independent thought.
That's all I'm doing.
Exactly.
And I appreciate that.
And then as an athlete who taught Amir how to play, he was the sixth scorer in the nation. His daddy got with him. Dante, you know this. As a basketball player, my job is to get into the opponent's head. Mm-hmm. And as black people, we have to learn to share our differences of opinion and not be so egregious and take it so personal. People say, well, I'm going to block you. All this election, I've just been spinning people. I've been like, I think Trump's going to win. They go crazy. I did too.
I did too.
I mean, that's all. It's just to create your thought. Like, I asked my wife, why are you a Democrat? Do you all believe the amount of people that calls me and talk to me from sitting there? I'm like, and I ask people, why are you Democrat? They can't tell me.
Most of them are Democrats.
They can't tell me.
But you know why most of them are? Because their parents were. And their grandparents were.
That's what we were told to do.
But that's not a bad thing.
I'm not saying that it was a valid reason. But if you go back to let's see, you're 35, you're 35, you're 40 something, I'm 40 something,
46.
Whatever, all the same thing. But if you go back to your grandparents, or you go back to your parents or your grandparents, a lot of them will tell you, especially your grandparents, they will tell you that they were Republicans up until 1968.
Right, that's the switch. When the party, I put that in the comments. The party switched.
Right. Mm-hmm. They were Republicans up until the Civil Rights Act was passed, because a lot of the Southern Dixie.
Stop right there, Dante. Stop right there. And that's when we went to hell. Because during this, they flooded the CIA, flooded Oakland with that dog food.
COINTELPRO.
Yes, and then it went to one thing to another, and we just went downhill since then. So my question is, where do we go from here? That's the topic. Where do we go from here?
He was about to tell us a few minutes ago when he was getting ready to explain that. Go back to that. Because I think he was making a valid point there. But I do want to say that I voted Democrat at first because I was told to, but I know that my grandmother, even after 68, was a Republican until she died, because she loved Bill O'Reilly. But she did, that she loved him, but it never made sense to me. And I was always very educated about it. And I was like, so I don't agree with this. So why I got to keep coming in here and vote D all the way down the ballot? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I ain't doing that no more. And then when I started doing research and not doing that, then it became, oh, you this and you that. And I'm like, well, I don't agree with that. I agree with this. I identify with this, but I don't. Like me, for example, on my ballot, you will see DR, DR. You don't see just one thing straight down.
That's because you have liberty to do that. You have the liberty to do that.
Hopefully, you've educated yourself enough about all the individuals that you're voting for, regardless of where they stand from a political party aspect. Because here's the other part. Many of us aren't far left. Many of us aren't far right. We're right in the center. Right. So it makes sense for you to have thoughts on different issues with different candidates, because we're mostly in the center as people. Black people traditionally are more fiscally conservative and socially liberal. That's how most Black people are. That's just how we like, because of the social issues. So a lot of us agree with the social issues of the Democratic Party, and a lot of us agree with the fiscal issues of the Republican Party.
Why are we choosing socialization over gaining financial freedom?
Well, hold on. Let me. I think that's kind of flipped a little bit.
Okay.
I kind of agree with what he just said, though.
I'm going to
Because
tell you
that's
why.
typically what it is. We want the wealth, but we rather have socialization and how we socialize and all of this stuff over being able to build wealth and leave.
Well, let me tell you why most.
Why is that
really,
taking precedence?
I'm gonna tell you why I feel like it's a little flipped to some, because if you look at the socioeconomic structure of foundational Black people, that's totally opposite from what they are. You know, like you'll see socially, I think most Black people are more center than they are fiscally, because most Black people ain't never had money anyway.
Right.
So there's, when it comes to socialization, if Black people were the people that wasn't having abortions, that's why it was a whole lot of us.
Right.
Okay. And you got 10 people, you know, that's why it's a whole lot of us. So like if you went to a Black person like,
but that's why they're pumping it now and trying to make it readily available free.
That's my point. And I feel like they tricked the women. Like what's the lady's name? The Planned Parenthood lady. You know, like when Planned Parenthood came, it was about to kill Black babies. It was about genocide of Black babies. So what happened with most, I'm talking about with most Black people, I feel like we're more socially conservative and more fiscally liberal because we've never had money. So you give a Black person $1,000 versus a white person with $1,000, most of the time, if they're from two different economic classes, the money will be spent totally differently.
But see, that goes back to the point that he was making before you came on the line when he was saying that we're all not like that.
Oh, no, we're not monolithic.
What I'm saying is that's a small sector with that mindset, because, you know, it goes back to make what you just said would make what Ice Cube said very valid, which was when we have money in our pocket, then we're more likely to have more dignity, and with more dignity, we can command more respect. From what you just said, but before you came on the line, he said to me, "Well, I don't identify with that part of."
Oh yeah, I saw that.
That's a very small, right? So that would be a very small sector, but it goes back. I said socially, we're more concerned about this because they're engineering it that way. They're basking our brains with it all the time, and so now socialization has become more important than being creative and innovative without selling our creative abilities off to other people.
And I totally agree with you.
We have to understand one of the things that you just said. We're not monolithic in need at all. And that's why this whole contract, even going back to the Ice Cube thing, this whole contract with Black America, and then I see a lot of people saying, well, what are we getting for our vote? You know, we keep voting Democrat, but we're not getting anything. And Obama did this for Hispanics, and he did this for Latinos, and did this.
And he did all that for them gay folks.
But guess what? Here's the difference. They all were together as one with an agenda. They had an agenda. We don't have an agenda. We don't have an agenda. As Black people, we don't have a single agenda for what we need. Go ahead, Doc.
Okay, so back to what you're saying about Obama, and like what y'all saying about what the LGBTQ, whatever the rest of the letters are.
The alphabets. The
yeah.
Letters, bacon, tomato.
Let
me finish. So what we got to realize, and this is what I say all the time, and when I'm in the barbershop arguing with my boys about this is what I always say, and I shut them down every time. Donald Trump, in my opinion, do I feel like he's prejudiced? Yeah. Do I feel like he's racist? Yeah. Do I feel like he's classist? Yeah. But I feel like his classism is greater than anything, because if Black people put our money together and had an agenda like the LGBTQ did from 1964 or 67, when all that stuff happened over on the West Coast, and they put their money together, and then because let's just be clear, you know what really got Obama elected that second term? Because he was losing in polls terribly. He went on The View and endorsed gay marriage.
Yep.
So because they had money and said, yo, we're going to get you elected. I live in Delaware. Rehoboth Beach is one of the most popping places for homosexuality in the country. They was down there raising money like crazy to send to Obama's campaign. And it's San Francisco, Atlanta. And at that point in time, I was telling Black people, I was like, so you do understand there's still a divide. And they were like, what are you talking about? I'm gay. No, the divide is you Black and you gay. Because now it's a difference. Because here's the thing. The white gay people, now that they got the right to marry, they back Republican. They're no longer Democrat because their pockets now have given them, they can get what they want.
The economic power to get what they want to
exactly
do. Right.
is on the right side. So
he's not lying about that. Yeah,
exactly. So here's my point. So here's my point. If black people, Ice Cube and Tyler Perry, Oprah, Jay-Z, and all the rest of the billionaires or cats that's in that 1%, what y'all should do is put y'all money together and go to Donald Trump and say, yo, this is what we want. Go, because the thing about it is the agenda don't even matter. It's the money behind the agenda that matters.
Right, but that's true. But look at what you just said. You said if Oprah and Tyler Perry, the people that got the money, but they would have made two slamming Ice Cube.
Well,
so
no,
what is really their agenda?
It's the agenda.
It wasn't about that.
Okay, hold on one second. Go ahead, Sean.
I said, as well, they should have. You can't come to the party like Ice Cube did and you don't know what you're talking about. As I said, the last time I was on the show with Bishop, your 22-page contract with America was a farce. You bit off of what the Congressional Black Caucus already had put out there. And if we're really going to speak truth to power, you're talking to the wrong person, because the power does not reside with the president. He does not have the ability to allocate any funding that comes through Congress. That is through the Constitution.
But we also know that Oprah got all that money and she's still not accepted.
So you know what, to her point, let me just say that what makes your point valid, because at some points I agree, some points I disagree, but the last point what you said, that's what makes everything true. So the issue with what you're saying is like Bishop said, right? I was like, yo, I told my wife, I was like, yo, I think Trump gonna win by a landslide. And I thought he was gonna win. And let me tell you why. When I saw Tariq Nasheed and when I saw all these gun movements and these black, listen, I know what you're saying. I'm not saying I like everything he does, but let me tell you, this dude got a following. And these people, these pockets of people got 10,000, 20. Listen, half of us preachers, I'm a pastor, right? I'm a first-year pastor. I can't get 1,000 people to watch me unless I'm doing something stupid or I'm caught up in a scandal. Let's just be all the way real. Tariq Nasheed, every Sunday night, he comes on YouTube. It's called Tariq Radio. He got 10,000 people watching him and listen to everything he's saying. And they agree with it. And they all was on the Republican side. They would call Kamala a mammy baby. They would call all. So what I'm saying. So and check this out. What people don't realize is, because Donald Trump, we thought Donald Trump was gonna win. We was like, yo, if Donald Trump win, that means the Senate is gonna stay the same. So in Ice Cube, if I'm Ice Cube, I'm like, yo, I might want to holler at this guy because it looked like he gonna win.
It's business.
So can I say something? Can I say one thing? Can I say one thing? Hold on.
I'm saying, let me tell you, Dick Rose, something. Every time we make a business move, don't mean we're a coon, don't mean we're a sellout. This is about our kids, it's about our future. And that's what it is. I said, I believe. The Lord ain't never told me who's going to be no president. I just said, I believe Donald Trump is going to be the president. Oh, it was a hand right on wrong. But these folks, this Dead Jimmy and other folks, they really pushed this thing. But I want to tell you all this. I don't think it's over yet. I don't know what I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't think it's quite over. But before you all go, I'm gonna throw this jab in here. What do you all, because both of you all, what do you all do with Paula White?
The same thing we did with everybody else who was trash.
I mean, Paula White's been garbage. Listen, Paula White's been garbage for a long time. She is nothing but a culture vulture. She was up there imitating how black women preach, imitating our moves.
Let me correct you. Let me correct you, because we came under the same spiritual father. Let me tell you this. Let me ask you this. I don't blame Paula White. I blame you people that follow her. The blind can't lead the blind.
We never follow Paula White.
Why do we demonize Paula White? She ain't changed. We always follow them.
No, she did change.
She changed. She changed. You know she changed.
Let me tell you something. Paula White ain't never been able to preach Paula White ain't never been able to preach the average coach evangelist women preacher. But because she's white and sound black, you all grouped up behind her. She ain't had that much work.
Don't be saying y'all. Don't be saying, man.
Jakes endorsed her. You all accepted her.
So hold on, Bishop. Let me just stop. Yo, come on, yo. You preach enough big pulpits to stop fronting right there. Don't talk about y'all. The people that go to your church, a lot of them, what you say, you have influence on how they live based off of what you say, and you speak from what God says. We as leaders and pastors have that ability. Now, when we see somebody like Jackson. We see her on Woman Thou Art Loose.
It don't make me no difference.
But yes, it does. Let me tell you why. Because everybody ain't the same. Yo, Bishop, come on, we gotta stop tripping.
No, I gotta keep it 100. I gotta tell you, I'm a different call. Period. Paulo White was never Paulo White. And Dante, no, his head ain't fat now.
I get what
you're saying.
saying.
Nothing that she has ever said has bear witness with my spirit. Period.
No.
That's all I'm saying.
That don't mean nothing to me because you preach for Jakes and all that. Because
that's you though. That's you. What I'm saying, I'm talking about. I know
when you come out from my grandpa's church, you come out from
talking about the people that hear this stuff.
No preachers don't enthuse her.
Hey,
let me say this. The people that were influenced by her.
That's what I'm talking about.
Let me finish my point. Let me finish my point, Doctor, and I give it to you. Let me just tell you, I got to keep it real. Now that the election over, I got to give it to you Negroes for real that don't know. Ain't a difference between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. It's classism, period. It's how one conduct another. Ain't no difference between a northern, you know what a northern white man is? He's a southern hillbilly, period. And number one. Number two, I just got to tell you that. I know, and I got some white born friends, but white people don't follow me. They won't follow me. Some of the greatest, they're not conditioned to follow you. And I got white people friends, and I tell them that. That's just wherever you go. So this is my point. We mad at Paula White, but we always pushing everybody else but our own. It still goes back to pushing our own. Why do we push Paula White that sound like she preaching at an auction?
Because let me ask you a question. If that's the case, why do black people follow Jim Jones? And why do people follow Billy Graham? And why do people follow the other white dude, Jimmy Swaggart?
And listen, that's why
you do know. I'm gonna tell you why. Let me tell you why.
I don't believe that all these people would have followed them like that.
Well, let me tell you why.
If we were still segregated, they wouldn't be following them.
Yes, they would have.
That's true.
We were segregated. You're right. I'm gonna tell you why though. White Jesus.
That's a lie.
That's not a lie. That's the reason why a lot of black
listen.
Let me say this.
Jesus was the same hue as all you Negroes on here. No, hold on. Because here's the point. The point that he's making is
get the message that I preach. I've been talking.
We need a new Jesus.
Wait a minute. I already preached. We need a new Jesus.
We need a new image. We need a new image of Jesus.
That's what because
let this man talk.
If Jesus looked like our hue on our pictures in our churches,
thank you.
No, I'm talking. Let me tell you
Negro,
something.
don't be mute my mic, Negro.
I'm talking. You ain't coming against my platform. I'm talking. I'm muting you right now. What I'm telling you is this. I preach this. We need a new Jesus. We have never, and then white supremacy is in Christendom. It comes to the Zondervan books. You know Zondervan from my hood in Grand Rapids. It comes out how they translate the NIV and take words they deal with etymology. White supremacy is all in the Bible, the way they preach it, and all white people ain't bad. And I ain't gonna say all white people bad.
No, we know that.
I tell you, they have changed the culture, and nobody's never repented for it. All right, you can't get me because I understand what the deal is.
Well,
I know white pastors go to Klans meetings. I know white pastors evangelicals don't believe in black preachers. That's why they rather pay you to go start a church rather than support you.
Bishop.
Here's the answer. Here's a question for you.
What? You can't have we haven't got a question on the floor.
Why is it that
you know that?
Why is it? I'm not
Now the question already on the floor. Why y'all demonizing Paula White?
Bishop, I told you.
We already told you.
Bishop, we're not. She demonized herself. We didn't demonize her. We just saw what she did and said, "Oh, we seen that before."
But wait a minute. But what about all the souls that she preached and draw to Christ?
So what? What's the Bible say about that, Bishop? He said you
what
can.
About the church?
What the Bible say about that? The Bible gonna say when you get the judgment, what's gonna happen? I casted out demons in your name. Depart from me, you worker of iniquity.
Okay, well we can't judge her on that right now because Christ said He's gonna judge that. We can't judge that.
Oh, wait a minute. We don't give a woman grace or no pass.
Oh, we do, but here's the thing. Hold on. We get into theology now, Bishop. The only time you can talk about grace like that is you have to accept the grace.
Who said she didn't?
You have to accept that.
No. Galatians 6:1. If your brother be overtaken of all, you that are spiritual consider thyself.
Right. But hold on, what's the Bible say? If you see your brother overtaking it, because it says in the spirit of meekness, that means you have power, controlled power.
Right.
The reality of Paula White is we ain't got more power than she got.
Who?
Listen, I'm not talking about because I'm talking about her. I'm not talking about spiritual power. I'm talking about the power. I'm talking about the power, the power to control the narrative, because she has been controlling her narrative, and now that she's done something stupid during an election year, guess what? She does not have the power to control her narrative.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Paula White, believe it or not, what she's been demonized for, you will be criticized for in your church. You know why? Because we're divided, but the world sees us as one. Why do we demonize our own? Even though she's white, even though she's the world sees us as our own.
No, they don't. No, Bishop, no, they don't.
Love covers a multitude of sin and fault. You all, that's pastors, hear me real good. You got one time, people in your congregation, you gonna say something crazy, they edit it, put it on film, put you out there, and you'll go viral. It happened to my boy, Prophet Rockmore. He asked the guy, could you please change the code? Well, the guy already met with him. He met with his mother. He met with him a couple of times. He came back. So they edited the video, and he went viral. What I'm telling you, do you see clowns at the mosque, the Fruit of Islam? Do you see the Catholic Church exposing arrows? We are the only ones, the Pentecostal Charismatic Church.
That's not true. That's not true.
What do you see in Larry Reed show? What do you see in Larry Reed show?
That's not true. That's not true.
Where do you see Larry Reed live show from the white community?
Let me ask you a question.
Where do you see the Larry Reed live show from the white community?
What you mean? What you mean?
Where
Do
we
they?
see it?
Christian, we used to see it all the time. And let me tell you,
Christians
hold on,
demonize each other and demonize everybody else.
Hold on, I'm about to answer your question. I'm about to answer your question. It used to be that Christian magazine, and the way they would do it in an actually a bigger Charisma. And let me tell you how they would do it in Charisma. They would do it from a theological perspective. No, hold on. You asked the question. I'm giving you an answer. You said, where do we see it? They would actually do it on a bigger platform.
How long ago was that?
And they still do it now to this day. And let me tell you where they do it at. They do it on theological perspective. But we're not, but we're too.
What black people need to change in our Christian thought as it relates to our brothers and sisters.
I don't think you do. Here it is, Bishop.
Y'all go crazy because a pastor sleep with somebody and y'all demonize the guy, y'all kill him.
It's not a demonization. Listen. If you did something, you did it, right? You don't get it where you did it.
There's no grace in the church.
That's a lie.
There's no grace in the church.
That's a lie.
Fall and see.
That's a lie. You know what? Hey, no. Well, hold on, Bishop. I have fallen.
No. Fall and see on a national level where people know you.
Listen to me. Now, I fell in my own community. And
Dante, what you shaking your head for, man?
Because here's the thing about fall and see.
It depends on. See, we have selective grace.
Yes.
I agree.
We have selective forgiveness. We do. We just do. I mean, and let's tell the truth. It depends on what you do,
right,
and who you are. How quick you're forgiven and given that grace in the black church. That's really, but then again, it's in life in general.
We got a lot of grace for new birth. We got a lot of grace. No, I'm just telling y'all. Just tell you real. I ain't worried about it.
I think grace looks like a lot of things, Bishop. I think just because I forgive you doesn't mean I still rock with you. I can forgive Paula White for her stupidity. No, let me finish. Just because you did something, I can forgive you for that, but I don't have to sit here and be like I was with you before. That woman, I still respect her as perhaps God's woman. I'm not sure, but I would never have her at my church again.
And I respect you for that. I respect you that. But why go to Facebook and demonize her?
Because that's where she said it at. Because that's where she said it at.
Right?
Let me ask you a question. They used to do that inside the church, though, from the same church that we both come from, the Church of God in Christ. They used to do that inside the church. I'm not talking about what she did. I'm talking about if somebody was off, they would correct them where they did it at.
Which was wrong, but it's wrong.
It's wrong.
It's none of your business.
No. It is. Wait a minute.
It's none of your business.
Hold on. It's none of my business.
It's none of your business.
I'm not talking about a sexual fault.
Who the hell are you to tell somebody to tell somebody when they're wrong? You want to call somebody else?
No. Okay, first of all, no. That's not what. Okay, first of all, that's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I was. No, that's not what I was talking about. What I was talking about if you're prophesying off and doing something in the church, that's what I was talking about. I wasn't talking about you sleeping with somebody else or being gay or homosexual.
Is sleeping with somebody else wrong?
It's still wrong. It's still wrong.
Wait. You want me to answer?
Yes, it's wrong. It's wrong.
There's no degrees of wrong.
It is.
Do you want me to answer?
Everybody's business.
Do you want me to answer? Do you want me to answer?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. If somebody's sleeping with somebody and they're a pastor, they owe the congregation an explanation and they should be set down. But if a congregate is with somebody else, that's not the congregation's business.
That's not what I was talking about, though, Bishop.
And hold on, but that's what Dante talking about. That's the difference between a storefront church and a mega church.
Well, Dante needs to get in context.
Bishop Jakes is not going to stand up his members and rebuke them.
Nigga, I'm in contact.
Not for what I was talking about. I said what I was talking about was Paula White specifically. She was doing all that stuff, calling those familiar spirits. That should have been corrected, right? If you would have did that at your granddad's church, your granddad would be like, "Hey, yo, son."
I would have never had the mic. He would have came and snatched the mic up.
That's my point. That's what I was talking about.
I have a question.
That's all of our business. That's all of our business.
No, wait. Let me check. Hold on, wait. Let me give it to you. You've been a pastor, and for 1 year, your laity that you pass, your spiritual sons and daughters, cannot just come up to you and rebuke you. This is the problem I have.
No,
it's
they're not.
That she didn't need correction. Everybody can't correct her.
No, the problem is she put it out. She put it out for the world to see, though, Bishop.
Yeah, but I told my kids, you be quiet. You don't have nothing to do with that. That's how we're supposed to.
Bishop, let me ask you a question.
Your kids.
Well, who gonna check her? Who gonna check her, Bishop?
I can't check her.
Well, last time I checked,
check her, boo.
Because Bishop Jakes, when they had that conversation at MegaFest, she sat there as a white evangelical Republican and disrespected black people on a national platform.
Well, they let her.
Huh?
They let her.
But the point I'm trying to make is, listen, but Jakes corrected her where she did it.
Right. Jakes can correct her.
That's my point.
I can't come in your house and correct you.
Oh no, you can give me a phone call. Because I'm gonna call you back. I'm humble enough to take a phone call.
No, but first of all, even Nathan the prophet, he was diligently through grace corrected David. We are in the day and time, people dog, everybody's talking. People that ain't even living right. People ain't even,
nigga, don't call me.
They just demonize her. You can't call me and check me. You gonna get checked. You might
get don't call me.
I'm different. I'm different because I'm from. I guess I'm cut a little different, but I feel
everybody can't correct you.
No, I'm not saying everybody can correct me, but you can holler at me. But you're gonna get what you're gonna get when you call. But you got the right. I'm gonna pick up the phone.
No, you don't have a right. No, you don't have a right. If we don't have a relationship, you don't have no right.
This is where the issue becomes.
Well, that's the case. Everybody gonna be correcting everybody because I see crazy stuff on social media all the time.
You got so many layers. You got so many rules. Nobody can tell you anything. And I'm gonna be honest with you. For most people, if they were not saved, they wouldn't want to be saved because you got all of these. Oh, if you don't have a relationship. Oh, if this is not your church. Oh, if you and me are not cool. Oh, if you're a major celebrity. Oh, if you're a minor celebrity.
I agree.
Wrong is wrong, or it's not.
Wrong ain't wrong.
Hey, Bishop May. Bishop May, I met you one time. I met you at Powerhouse one time. My aunt introduced me to you one time. I don't even know if you remember. And I was like, oh, okay. I just saw you on Facebook. Now here's the reality. Me knowing who you are, if you just happen to jump on one of my streams and you be like, and you inbox me and be like, yo, I want to holler at you about something. Can you give me a call? I'm gonna call you. Now, what happens after I call you is what happens, but I'm still gonna give you that respect. So we can have a phone conversation and not a Facebook.
Well, we in the same family, though. We're in the same family. I'm talking about some random guy. You don't even know who this guy is, picking up the phone and calling us. We're in the same family.
I agree.
But can't nobody just call me and just start checking me.
Oh no, no.
That's all I'm saying. You gotta have some. You gotta have some authority. Where you at? Oh, you gotta have. You got to have some type of authority. All I'm saying, do we ever cover?
Well, I think we do.
Is not the greatest creature to me, but she only did something once crazy that I seen. But do we ever cover? We don't cover.
I think we do cover.
For what? I'm not. It's not my responsibility to cover her. It's not my responsibility to cover her. It's not my responsibility to cover her because she uncovered herself.
That's my point.
She did it.
I agree. I agree with that.
She did it to herself.
Right, but
when
because my theology is wrong,
when you expose yourself, then you're
no.
welcoming all the smoke that you get.
When you expose
But is it supposed to come from us as other believers, though? That's my question. Is it supposed to be us that do it, or let the world do all of that?
Right.
But if she exposes herself,
not everybody.
If she exposes herself, she deserves all the smoke.
Let me tell you, if me and my wife fighting on Facebook Live, and somebody jump in and they getting their head busted, it ain't your business. That's all too. You got.
First of all, if y'all fighting on Facebook, if you fighting on Facebook Live with her, I'm gonna call you on your cell phone, tell you to shut up and shut it down. I'm gonna straight up.
No, that ain't my point. Everybody, just because you have your theology is error, don't mean you're wicked. We call that woman witch. We call that woman a warlock. She could just be in error, Dante. There's a difference between.
I don't know who called her
between being wicked and being weak. You could be in error in your doctrine. But that
I don't know who called her those names.
All the time.
But
they dogged that woman. You know why they really dogged her? Let me tell you why.
You know what's crazy?
You know why they dogged her? Because she supports Trump. That's all the reason she does.
Yeah. I was going to get to that point because they actually dogged her more for that prayer than they did for stealing Zach Tim's church from his wife.
Exactly.
Oh, did I say that?
That's crazy. But that's the truth, though. Now that's truth. We can say it out loud. Truth is truth. It don't matter if the truth come out.
Y'all Christians can't hate Trump and be saved.
I don't hate him. I never
just
liked
like you can't hate Biden and be saved either.
I haven't liked Trump. I've had a problem with Trump since 1987 with the Central Park Five. How he tried to lynch those black boys, and he still hasn't apologized to them, and then doubled down after they were found innocent. He still doubled down on them.
Man, no.
You remember that the cousin or the niece of somebody wrote a whole book about his psychological problems. His pride won't allow him to admit that he was wrong publicly.
Terry Rucker said you've been hypnotized by the Trump spirit.
Hysterical. He's talking about you, sis.
She's constantly awake, and she ain't just talking. See, this is what y'all understand. When Chancellor speaks, she's not just talking about Trump. A party or an agenda is bigger than the actual president. I don't know what you got the Senate that's Republicans. You got the Congress. Why you all that's Democrats and most black people can't see beyond the parameters. He said Paula White. Okay. You can't see beyond the parameters of the individual that's running. And that's why Joe Biden is running.
Or Bishop, beyond the parameters of the narrative that the media wants you to believe. And for me, as a believer, I'm trying to figure out how y'all falling for what they say and not what the Bible say and what God said. At the end of the day, none of us are supposed to be bickering about the politics.
Because my
salvation. As a believer, let me ask you a question. As a believer, just answer my question. As a believer, is it right? Don't give me because y'all do this at church. Gay may be wrong, but what about the lions? What about I ain't talking about all that. Answer the question, yes or no. As a believer, does the Democrat or the Republican parties stand closer with God issues or God theory, all right, and God's ways, or the Democrats? Which one, Democrats or Republicans?
The Democrats. Let me explain why. Let me explain why the Democrats are.
No, wait. I'm asking the question. I'm asking which question.
Okay, but can I quantify? Can I quantify?
No, I'm going to quantify. But listen, as it relates to abortion,
the Republicans.
I don't know. I would say they're both the same. Yeah, and let me tell you why.
Thou should not kill.
Let me tell you why. But thou shalt also have free will. Jesus gave us all the free will to do what we want to do.
But God also said he don't like innocent bloodshed in the land.
You can't just pick the one thing that
I'm asking a question.
No, I'm saying you can't say it's the Republicans because you feel that they're against abortion. They might be against abortion, but they're not.
I ain't asking about
just ask that though. You can't because what happens is they're like the Republicans are against abortion, but they're not pro-birth. See, they want to take away the safety net, the social safety nets after the children are birthed. So that's why in their budgets, they cut back WIC, they cut back welfare, they cut back affordable housing. You can't be. So that's why I'm saying you can't just say one thing and cut and dry. It's not that.
Let me counteract. Let me counterpunch you with this. Why would you have a baby as a man if you can't take care of him?
Why would anybody have? I'm the product.
Wait. We want to blame the Democrats. We want to blame the Republicans.
Hold on.
Why would a man? It ain't a woman's job to take care of no child. Why would no? It ain't no woman's job. It's her to raise and nurture a
Go ahead,
child.
listen.
It's a man's rightful duty to be able to take care of a child.
I agree, but there are a whole bunch
history. You shouldn't even marry a woman nor have a baby by it if you can't take care of the woman and the child. So
but there are a whole bunch of males. There are a whole bunch of males, a whole bunch of people that were born with a penis that weren't raised by their father, so they have no clue how it is and what it means to be a father.
But it don't change.
They have no clue. They have no clue. So they sleep with this one, they sleep with that one, and they weren't taught responsibility from birth. There's something to be said about having a father in the household that would teach you what a man is supposed to be.
Right.
I believe.
So don't blame the Republicans because they don't want you to continue to be on.
It is not a Democrat. It is not a Democrat. And it's not a Democrat or Republican.
The people that don't want to take up the responsibility for the irresponsibility of somebody else. And I'm talking from a person that was 16 and pregnant, who baby father is a drug dealer that was gone 16 years out of my children's life, and they're 20 now. So some of that, and I'm also 37, and I didn't run to the system to get welfare. I wasn't one of them fortunate people that got Section 8 and all of this kind of stuff when I had my daughters. Actually, when they were 3 months, I got locked up right behind them because I wasn't a snitch, if we want to be real about that. And I did what I was supposed to do. I worked, I still graduated college, and I still raised my kids. My daughters don't have no babies now, and they're in the honors program at A&T. So you can't see all of that after you get a certain age. It's up to me to learn what a woman's supposed to be, to learn what kind of mother I'm supposed to be if I call myself a believer. Because what I know came by the Holy Ghost, not because my mama taught me to be a mother, but because I actually walk with God.
But it has nothing to do. But see, this is where I'm agreeing with you, but I disagree with you. Let me tell you what I disagree with you with. Learning how to be a mother and learning how to be a woman, forgive me, I got to plug my computer in, has nothing to do with being a believer. I don't think it does.
I wouldn't have known apart from the Holy Ghost.
I don't think it does. She said the Holy Spirit brought her to the knowledge of wisdom on how to become a mother.
Well, okay, it grew her up. It grew her up. But there are a lot of people that haven't grown up.
Let me tell you something. First of all, I would not be a hypocrite. I would not bash the welfare system. I would never do that.
I'm not bashing it either.
But let me say this. But there comes a time you don't need to be on everybody's not. You don't need to have 7 generations of the same entity being on welfare. Somebody needs to break the cycle. And that's what some of the Republicans are saying.
To check this out, Bishop, when that welfare system program rolled back to that 5 years and all of that, the Republicans didn't write that legislation back in '97.
And so that's what I'm saying.
You're playing back. Generation of people.
Actually, it was co-sponsored by both a Republican and a Democrat. Because Bill Clinton was the president. Presidents don't write laws; they only sign laws. Just want to make sure we know that.
But I didn't say sponsored. I said authored.
He didn't author it either. That's not how government works.
Should not. Do you agree with this? If a woman is on welfare and she's had 2 babies, just say 3 babies. Shouldn't there be something at play to say before we take care of this 5th child, you need to be in school or either working part-time, et cetera, et cetera? Do you believe that?
I believe there should be some there should be some responsibility with that. Yes. So I believe that if she's in the system, there should be some job training.
The mindset of the entrepreneur.
So there should be some job training or skill training, trade training that goes along with being able to accept that public assistance.
Exactly.
They do have that in place,
but watch this. That's not a Republican trait. That's more of a Democrat trait on that.
Right.
Oh, man.
But hold on. But see here, in order for that person to be trained for a job and all that, the job has to exist.
There are plenty of jobs.
No, where?
I'm looking for about 1,000 people right now.
What you want for? What you paying them?
Right.
Well, I don't know.
How much you paying them? Can they support their wife? Can they support their family?
A livable wage, $15 an hour.
For
Doing what?
A mortgage loan, housing counselors.
Okay, I can do that. I'm a real estate agent anyway. Plus, I'm a social worker too at the same time.
And it's a full time position. It's a full-time job, not something that you can do half the time. It's a full-time job.
What do they need to do? What do they need to do?
Right. And I do this from home. I'm in Virginia Beach. You in North Carolina. So how that's gonna work? But I am always in Greensboro and Charlotte too. So
we allow our people to work remotely. You don't have to go anywhere. We have allow all our people to work remotely. Inbox me when you get done. When we get done here, or you look on the page with Amir. I'm sorry, with Bishop May. I'm sorry, I call him Amir. We're brothers. All right, no disrespect to his title and what he does. You know, but that's Amir. Look me up and inbox me.
That's my big brother for me too. That's why I cut somebody if they come for. Y'all know y'all can.
Did she say cut somebody?
Listen.
But listen, really,
that's why it's coming. So they better shut up on his page. They better stop.
But to your point about,
I've been having to pray. Hold on, let's take a pause for the whole.
No, I'm just stirring people. Really, everybody that know me, I'm just stirring people up to think. I really don't care about it.
The differences between the party are negligible at best. They're really just, it's very paper thin on what they believe. It's very paper thin at what they believe. And so, and that's one of the reasons why I'm.
But both of them are rich, is my thing. So when we see, Trump is rich and Biden is not, I'm like, how do you think that Biden is not rich? Like,
well, they're all big money inside the Beltway. Inside the Beltway, it's all about green. They're all friends. They all eat lunch together. They go to dinner together. They drink together. They share the same women.
And they're sitting up laughing at everybody right now.
Outside of the Beltway, outside of DC, they make it seem like it's red versus blue, when in reality, it's all about green. It's all about green inside the Beltway. Inside DC, it's all about green. Outside of DC, it's about red and blue. It's about making people think it's about red and blue.
Well, Dante, I appreciate y'all time, man. I ain't eating, y'all have, and I know Tanza, thank y'all.
I want to pick my food up, but I want to get back to what he was saying about the job.
My wife bought me dinner.
I'm about to, both of y'all in the same inbox. I inbox y'all. I'm going to make sure he inbox you right now.
All right. Yeah, do that.
All right, y'all be blessed.
I got to finish working because, I don't want